Hey, this is Tony Soprano, and you're listening to Jersey Boyz Podcast with your hosts, Dave Sturchio and the Ernst Boys. I mean, I could give a shit about the Cowboys. We're in New Jersey. These guys got balls being Cowboys fans in Jersey. Anyways, enjoy. Or whatever.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah! How about them Cowboys?
Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Jersey Boyz Podcast right here on the My Fandom and Chop Sports Media YouTube channel. Of course, wherever you get your podcasts. It is America's fan, Keith Ernst, joining Trevon Diggs' favorite Dallas Cowboys fan, Dave Sturchio. Welcome back to the program. I hope everybody's doing well out there. We're doing a lot better than the 3-3 Dallas Cowboys. Keith, how we doing today, pal?
I'm doing all right. It's just I like the how about those Cowboys in the beginning? Like
that was the
I don't know how to take that. Is that being sarcastic?
I mean, yeah, maybe. I guess we can just I could play it.
It should be.
Episode. I could play it every episode, and we'll just kind of work with that. You know what I mean? Like, and
yeah.
You can determine if it's good or not.
Yeah.
But listen, man, Cowboys coming off a very, very embarrassing performance on Sunday. It is their worst home loss since 1988 or some shit like that, or 84. I don't know. But it was from start to finish a complete beatdown. I wear a little egg on my face saying that the Cowboys were going to score more than they've scored all year, and they scored actually less than they've scored all year. So that is the polar opposite of what you can expect from the Dallas Cowboys. Keith, your first takeaways from this fourth straight, including last year's playoffs, home blowout loss.
Well, to be precisely,
said.
It's the lowest points scored since the Washington game at the end of the season, 2 seasons ago. Dak Prescott was awful in that game. And I believe we only scored 6 points.
You fucking Mel Kiper over here.
And you're right. I would say 84, going off the top of my head, 84, you're thinking of the 44-0 loss to the Bears.
Wasn't that a playoff game?
No.
Oh.
That's my
we got the doors blown off us in a playoffs against Detroit, I believe, in 91.
Yes, we did. But that was in Detroit.
Okay.
That was in Detroit. I think if it's 88, it's got to be the there was a Minnesota game I remember on a Sunday night with a quarterback named Kevin Sweeney, by the way. So Kevin Sweeney was our strike quarterback who stuck around for the next season. Yeah, he was a scab, and he stuck around for the next season, and then we were getting our ass kicked by the Giants. This is like the season after the strike, right? And Danny White gets benched, and they put Kevin Sweeney in. We're down, I think, 24-7 or something. He brings us all the way back, and I think the final score was 31-28. We lost, but we were like, wow, we got ourselves a quarterback. So the following week,
you were a little Sturgeon back in 84.
No, this is 88. So,
88,
so the best part about it is they start him the next week against the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday night, bro. Mm-hmm. I was little me was so amped, and it was an ESPN Sunday night game, special event, and we got fucking hammered, bro. I think it was like 40-3 or something, 42-3, but it has to be 42-3 because we just lost by 38, right? So it was something like that. So that had to be the worst loss in our stadium since. Anyway, sorry. See, you sent me down this fucking rabbit hole in my memories.
I mean, look, you're the historian of the group. But yeah, man. What's your takeaway?
This is my takeaway. All right. Let's just chalk this up. Like the offense, and that was all Dak Prescott. The offense, they were awful. They were just completely awful. We've seen this Dak before. Mm-hmm. I've been praising Dak. And I tried not to praise him, but he won me over again. He's my girlfriend. I brought her back. She said she'd never cheat on me, and she went out last night and blew a dude. Okay? That's what just fucking happened.
That is a perfect analogy, by the way. If our listeners thought that the Rocky V analogy was good, that one was even better.
Yeah. It'd be nice if you cut that one up.
Yeah,
you didn't cut the Rocky V one up.
I will listen. I gotta leave something to the actual listener, right? Like I can't just put the whole fucking thing on there.
Anyways, my point is we haven't had a game like that from Dak Prescott. I know even against Buffalo and San Fran last year, I still say those games weren't his fault. They weren't. They were. It was shitty defense. Yes, he could have kept us in the game. Yes, he was part of the problem. But I would say that Dak was the main issue in this game, unfortunately. He was. Okay, now let me finish.
Mhm.
Now, if you go back, the last game I've seen Dak Prescott this way in was the divisional playoff game against the 49ers. Now, there's something that happens with him, and it all started with the first drive, okay? When he threw that horrible pass to Fergie that got tipped in the air, and Tolbert got it and ran down the sideline, which should have been picked, right?
I think it was Rico who caught that.
Was it Rico?
Yeah.
And then you have the pass, the Ferguson that may have been uncatchable that they called holding on a pass interference that got us all the way down there. Then of course he gets whatever happens, we kick a field goal. The second drive that we went all the way down, and he threw the interception. But I'm just saying though, these passes he was throwing, it's almost like he gets in this mode, and everybody, when this happens, look at his eyes. And I bring this up on the show all the time. There's something where I want to say it's either his right or his left eye goes in a little bit. And the other one goes forward. Dude, something goes on because, bro, I can name almost every game that when this happens. Opening game against Tampa. Hold on. Opening game against Tampa a couple years ago at home. That happened, except our defense stepped up. At Denver, remember the Denver game where we were 10-point favorites? He had that look. Dude, we were getting blown out 30-0 in the fourth quarter by the Denver Broncos with, was it Geno Smith that was playing quarterback for them at the time?
Broncos?
I think it was Geno Smith for the Broncos. No, or Teddy Bridgewater. Sorry.
Teddy Bridgewater.
It was Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah. He was playing. We were 30-0 in the fourth quarter, and we got he didn't do anything that game. So, I mean, we've seen this Dak before. And as soon as I saw those passes in the first drive and I saw his face, I was worried. And I was completely right.
Yo, it's so funny you say that. But going forward, if you ever see that look in his eye, just text us cockeyed Dak, and we're like, we'll know what's going to happen. Dude, I used to think that way about Romo. There was a look in Romo's eyes where it would be like, he looks a little lost right now, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to bounce back from that. That's the look that I know exactly what you're talking about, because he buries his head in the iPad and he looks around. He just doesn't talk to anybody. So it's almost as if I understand, I'm not about to, bash mental health, but is he a head case when it comes to a bad play? Does he trickle down and go down this road and can't recover?
No,
he doesn't. He usually doesn't blink, and he usually does.
That's the difference, because I brought that up last week against the Steelers.
Right.
I gave him the game ball after those 2 interceptions and that fumble that he had, because he bounced back. He still was that guy. You're going to have interceptions in the NFL, man. Nobody's fucking perfect. Okay?
Yeah, Mahomes too. Mahomes, guys like that. Picks.
Exactly. As I went back and watched the all 22, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not the condensed version. There were receivers open, dude. It was almost like he was set on who he was going to throw to before he said hi. Very, very rarely did he go through his reads.
So he was telegraphing the whole time.
Pretty much. He even said on that interception, because Jalen Tolbert was the one in the end zone, by the way, to CD. Jalen Tolbert was wide open underneath. But how that play works is Dak stares at the cornerback that's on Jalen Tolbert. Then that cornerback cheats up, and then CD he hits in the back. He came out and said, "I didn't stare at that defensive back long enough." That's why he turned around, and that's the thing, because he knew in his mind, "I'm just going to CD." I think that was what he was doing the whole game. I don't know what's going on with him. It could be something. It could be, who knows? But he was in that mode, and that's the mode I can't. I when he's in that, only our defense. We've never won a game when he's been in that mode, ever.
Right.
Ever. I can't think of one where our defense pulled us through. I'm trying to, where he played that bad. Maybe I can think of something later, but
maybe
I can't.
Maybe one of the Saints games, early in his career. I don't know. I feel like the defense played a little
defense
better.
Has won games for us. Yes, they have, but I don't know. I can't.
I'm with you on the whole Dak Prescott not being able to look off a receiver, and I get it, man. Because look, if you look at the roster top to bottom, we started to talk about last week about Jalen Tolbert's emergence as could he be the number 2? I don't know. We'll find out. Then literally 7 calendar days later, I'm out saying, you know what? He's got nobody else other than CeeDee Lamb and sometimes Ferguson down the middle. Like I don't know where to go from here. And today, the breaking news: Devontae Adams gets dished to the Jets. Amari Cooper gets traded to the fucking Bills. Like, all of a sudden, you got all these moving parts in these receivers because these GMs and these football guys, they know where the problem is. We need something here. We'll go get that here if they think they have a fighting chance to be either a division winner or a B, go on a run or whatever, right? The Jets are 2-4, and they're making a Amari Cooper type move that we made in 2018. We were 3-5, I believe, when we brought in Amari Cooper. Then we went on this run. We finished, I believe, 10-6 or 10-7, whatever. I think it was like 10-6. And then the playoffs and the rest is history. But what I will say is, I don't know if Dak has any confidence, real confidence in anybody else other than CeeDee Lamb. And that's a problem if the defense is prepared to shut down one guy. And it's funny because last week, how much were we praising the fact that he dished the ball off all over the place, spreading the ball out against Pittsburgh, right? I think 11 different people touched the ball last week. There was nothing of that, no resemblance of that early, during the game, after the middle of the game, end of the game. There was no resemblance of the Dak Prescott that we saw against Pittsburgh. And I understand we didn't beat the brakes off of Pittsburgh, but they did enough, even despite the mistakes. And when I saw the mistakes developing in this game against the Lions, it felt very reminiscent of all the other blowouts where, like, okay, this is going to spiral out of control, and this isn't going to give us a fighting chance, because there were fighting chance. How many times again, Keith, did they get to the red zone and turn the ball over again and turn the ball over again? It's just, it's one of those things, man. It's just like when it rains, it pours on Dak Prescott, 100%.
Yeah, I do still disagree with you to a certain extent. I do think that this game, and I'll say it again, was on Dak. And the receivers were open. He just wasn't throwing to them. And if you go back and watch, you'll see. I mean, there were so many plays I saw where I'm like, why is he not seeing this person? Why isn't he going through his reads? Why is he releasing what is going on with him? So I don't care who the second receiver was in this game. I don't think it would have made a difference, buddy.
Well, do you chalk up anything to the new shuffled offensive line? Also, I think it was like 8 or 9 pressures.
He could have been nervous back there. Maybe he thought that I don't think that's him though either.
I'm not saying he's nervous.
I think he had a bad day. I think he really, really had a bad day at the office.
But in that regard, and I agree with you, very bad day for Dak, right? I agree. But let's just pretend arbitrarily that he scores, I don't know, 3 of those drives.
Yeah.
We're still smoked by 10, 20 points.
Okay.
Like, we lost by a lot of points.
I get you.
Defense can't do shit.
I get you. And this is how I look at that too. We're already down 6 starters.
Sure.
Defense, okay.
Yeah.
It was well known. I mean, any Cowboy fan would know this if you follow them like we do. The coaches came out and said it afterwards. Dallas Cowboy riders, the offense knew the position they were going to be in, and they knew that they were going to have to score a lot of points. They knew it, and they were going to have to carry the team for once because they were going to have to do it. Like, we know this is going to be a shootout, Seattle-esque. We got to score every time. Mm-hmm. They knew it. The offense knew it, and maybe that got on Dak's mind. Maybe that impressed him. I don't know. But that's my one thing. The other thing I want to say, after the first 2 drives, where it was, what was it? We scored 1 field goal and an interception, and their first 2 drives they got 10 points, right? I believe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because it was like 10-3.
Yeah.
After that, and this is what you can't do with our defense. I don't care if you go down. I'd rather them drive down to the red zone and turn the ball over. I'd rather them drive, then do a 3-and-out. We had 3 3-and-outs in a row. You can't do that with a depleted defense. So you're putting the defense out there right away 3 times in a row, man. And it was like touchdown, field goal, touchdown or something like that. You can't, in the position they're in right now, you cannot do that. That's why I'm cutting them a tiny bit of slack. But I'm saving my anger for somebody else on that defense. Because if you notice, as it went on.
My new favorite player?
Hold on. All right, let me talk about our text messages.
Sure.
So, we get a little heated, especially if you heard us on this show. The text messages might sound a lot worse, taking out of context and all that kind of stuff. But Sturch was not praising the offense at all. He wasn't saying, he was saying the defense is trash and the offense is just as bad. Very, and I was kind of pushing back at him saying, because of what I just brought up, this is on the offense. It's not really on the defense. But then as the game went on, I was watching, and 3 and outs or not, he was right. The defense was just as fucking horrible as the offense. And because you don't make excuses for, even though I just did with the 3 and outs and all that, forget it, throw it to the side. The one player, and whoever listens to this show knows I have the biggest beef with, was on full display on that game, in that game.
Who's that, Keith?
Damone Clark.
Oh, okay. Difference.
Okay.
That's weird. Walker gave him a pass.
Okay. I know. And this is the weird part. Now, there was a play circulating where they say that Damone Clark made a Ray Lewis-esque play. I swear.
I know,
it was actually a great defense.
Compares the two. That's horrible. Forget it.
I know. But it was a very good defensive play, but it kind of shows what I'm about to get into here. He makes an awesome read, scrapes the line, goes in and makes a pretty good tackle on a clean hit on this running back, like a chest, let me grab you and just throw you down a little tackle for a middle linebacker, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In that position, you have to be a fucking killer. You have to be an assassin. And now, we worry about – look, when the running back has the ball, you can hit those motherfuckers, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You do have to be careful with the quarterback. I saw so many plays on the All-22. If you guys got NFL Network or NFL.com, whatever it is, the pass, go to All-22, watch the defense, and Damone Clark so many times. Now, here's the thing with him. He's fast, and he makes pretty good reads. He cannot attack for the life of him. And then he ends up getting in other players' ways. I saw one where he came through and literally came almost face-to-face with the running back, and he stops like he's going to take a picture with him. What the fuck are you doing? Go all in, baby. Go run his ass fucking over. Look at look at Warner for the Niners. Look at these linebackers. That you got to have that assassin killer mentality. He does not have it. He was responsible for so many of those runs that I saw. They kept running at him. If you go back and watch, they kept going his direction. Props to Overshown, who was the complete opposite. Okay? He was getting double teamed. He would run in and try. Sometimes he'd miss, sometimes he wouldn't, but at least he was trying to be a killer. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And Luifo, I had this complaint with him in preseason. He still is out of position a lot, but he's going to be a good linebacker. And at least he has a killer. He has that instinct. He has that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where once he gets the defense down, he gets his reads down, he's going to be good too. I'm telling you right now, if Damone Clark rolls out with that green dot, when we play the 49ers on Sunday night, I mean, we're already looking like double-digit losers there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's going to be another massacre. They cannot. Honestly, he needs to go. He needs to fucking go. And here's the whole thing with preseason, buddy. We talked about this, okay? When has Zimmer actually seen him play? And people out there that are not in their head and thinking I'm crazy right now, the last 2 games before this one, our defense has played fucking good. Guess who didn't come out? Guess who wasn't in that game?
Damone Clark.
I mean, and now he comes in and they're having him lead the defense because he understands it more, I guess. But
you say understand, I say longevity compared to the others. That's all.
That too. I mean, you don't want to put in Darius Harris, who had an awesome preseason. He didn't even play a snap. I didn't even see him in there once.
I didn't see him either.
I mean, I'd rather put him in there. I'd rather put these practice squad guys, put these killers in there, man.
Well, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with you on Damone Clark. Undersized, not your prototypical linebacker. Yeah, he's got speeds coast to coast, but you got to be able to make a tackle. Speaking of making tackles, at least maybe he tried to make a tackle because there's one individual on the defense that decided I'm going to go into business for myself and make sure I don't get hurt and avoid all tackling altogether. And this is not the first time this has happened. Trevon Diggs needs to be held accountable. And I think he's gone into business for himself way too many times. And he's not the corner that he used to be. He's not the all-pro that had 10 picks and pick sixes and all this other shit, right? He's not that guy. I had somebody on Twitter come at me today saying he's paid to cover, not tackle. I was like, wait, what? I'm sorry. You're a defensive player in the NFL and you're not paid to tackle? Like, my guy, like, the effort is a big thing. And I said it on my show yesterday, and I'll say it again. Me, Keith, Brett, right? We've all played the game. We know the game. You know, you guys have played at a bigger level than I have. But I will say this. You will never, in any line of work, not just, you know, football on the gridiron, for me, for your brother who's, you know, nationally known comedian, you'll never question his effort. You'll never question the effort that I put in to try to do a show. You'll never question what he does on the stage. You'll never question, you know, what you do at these premiere, right? You won't question these things because we will give you 110%. Effort is everything. We can't play corner in the NFL. I can't throw a football pass, like, well, you know, NFL caliber football pass. I can't run the rock. So for me to question somebody's skill level, that's stupid on my part because it's just like, I can't do it. So what am I, you know, I'm critiquing. But what I can do is I can call your ass out on effort because you gave nothing. You gave zero effort. And there's a play that I slowed down that I replayed over and over again, which I since deleted. It's the same thing that happened to me with Jalen Smith. I found a good play of him just completely sucking, and the world blew up about it. And then all this, like, attention is one thing. I don't seek clicks. I'm not that guy. But Trevon Diggs took it upon himself to DM me and put just a laughing emoji.
Yeah,
I would have much rather him said in a DM, if he had the time, since he had the time to reach out, I would have much rather had Trevon Diggs say, hey, you old, washed piece of garbage, you can't do what I do. I would have much rather heard that. And I'd be like, you know what? You're right, dude. You're right. But no, he laughed at the fact that I questioned his effort. But who's laughing, man? None of us fans are laughing.
You know,
the effort was never there. And
what was the play?
It starts at the top too, Keith. I'll put it on the coaching too. Starts at the top. Yeah. You lose a locker room when you start seeing shit like that.
But what play are you referring to?
There was one play where Montgomery was coming downhill and he was coming around the outside. He was shedding his own blocker, right? And he had a clear shot. I'll send it to you after the show. Clear shot at taking this dude's head off, or even just tripping him up by his shoelace. Yeah, whatever you want to do. Just do something. He olays him. He was a bullfighter on Sunday. He just fades off. Nobody's blocking him off. Nobody, you know, like somebody was like, oh, people did cape up for him. Oh, he had a bad angle. No, he did not. He got out of the way.
You know what?
Montgomery is 240 pounds of solid muscle coming down like a locomotive. He got out of the way, man. And you can't tell me any different. I got eyes, bro. I've seen the game.
And I'll die on this one hill, okay? That people, and you brought it up too before, and because they said he was known for it. Even Dion would take a shot. It may not be the best shot. Right. He would take a shot. He used to go for their ankles and their feet. Dion was people make him out like, oh, he was afraid to tackle. He wasn't afraid to tackle. He may not have been the best tackler at certain points.
And I'm
but
cool
at least
with that.
You would have never seen Deion Sanders. And let me go on record. Deion Sanders, to me, is not the greatest Dallas Cowboy defensive back. Everson Walls is, for my generation. Some people might say Mel Renfro or whatever. And he's not really a Dallas Cowboy to me. I know that might hurt little Sturch, but it doesn't matter. The fact is, he is all around the greatest cornerback ever to play. And even him, I know that I want to see this. If he would never do something like that ever.
That's what I'm saying.
He might look like a bitch doing it, but completely moving out of the way.
If you are Trevon Diggs and you just fall in front of him because you just don't want to, you don't want to jam a finger, break a pinky, whatever. Just get in his way, man. Let the other linebackers come up and gang tackle him. This dude wants nothing to do with contact. You can't tell me any different.
And here's another point that the guy said, well, he's paid to cover. Okay, then at least do that.
That's right. He got burnt 3 times on Sunday.
Did you see? But the first time it was the same fucking play, I think. I think it was Williams or somebody for the Lions receiver.
Jameson ate us apart.
Did a post and dropped it, hit his chest.
They went right back out.
The very next play, yeah. But that was on Trevon.
I know.
Both of those were on Trevon. He just caught it right over the fucking middle.
And that's another thing. And I was talking about this with my dad and my brother while we were watching the game in real time. I said, Trevon, it feels like there's man coverage called, and Trevon's the only one that's playing zone. Meaning, if he's burnt across the middle, and he's literally burnt toast across the middle. We saw it with Jameson Williams 2 plays in a row. I think Trevon thinks there's going to be safety help or somebody else behind him to cover his ass, because there's been so many times where he's looking for the help, it's not there, and then he just gets burnt. And miss me with the whole, the end of the game, there was one more touchdown he gave up on a go route, right? And he slams the turf like he's angry. Damn it. Like, dude, stop. If that's your emotion, get out of here with that shit. I'm sorry. And you know me, bro. Keith, you know me. Brett knows me. I'm Mr. Optimism. I'm Mr. Go Cowboys Go. No matter what, I am that guy. What I saw out of Trevon Diggs and then had to be reached out to by a fucking professional athlete laughing at me like I'm the problem. Okay. Then I can't invest my emotions and my effort. Am I going to get pissed when they lose? Yes. Am I going to get fucking happy when they win? Yes. That's who I am. I'm a fan. But at the end of the day, man, if that wasn't an eye opener to know that these guys, no matter what you say about them, and I understand that you're supposed to do that as a professional athlete, you think here's the difference. And here's where I'll say and end it with this, with the Trevon shit. Do you think we would ever live in a world where if Dak Prescott had a bad game and people were adding Dak Prescott on Twitter, do you think he would ever reply to one person? No, not a shot in hell. Not a shot in hell would he reply. You know why? Because he's bigger than us. He is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. He will accept the critiques. He will take the critiques. He will tell you things, the little quips after that Ravens loss. He goes, you guys want to jump off the bandwagon? Jump off. Please, no, jump off. Wait until we come back and make this resurgence. Fine, cool. I'm cool with that. But for somebody to laugh and reply and send a DM, bro, it could have been a reply to a tweet. It would have made more sense that way.
So,
and the crazy part is, Keith, one last point, the craziest part is that I loosely said on Twitter after the fact, I was like, my simple tweet was, wow, didn't expect that DM. Didn't say anybody, but everybody was like, oh, Trevon. Yeah, like as if this guy hasn't deleted his social media 17 times in the last 5 years. Get off.
But all right, here's the thing that we have to realize, because you're no longer little Sturch either.
No.
You're going to be
49-year-old Church at this point.
Yeah, there's still kids. All right, it's a different time, and bringing Dak up is a good point. But he's a quarterback too. Quarterbacks are more headstrong. They have to be, or they wouldn't have made it this far.
Truth.
You know what I mean? So he's still a kid. He's still he's not looking at things the way you are. But you're exactly right. I'm on your side 110%. The effort that it sounds like. My thing is. But once it got past our linebackers, it didn't seem like, I take that back. There's one of my guys was bringing the wood. Damian Wilson, bro. Not Damian Wilson. The safety.
Jordan Lewis?
No, man. Fucking, hold on.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm sorry. I almost said Xavier Woods. Haven't had him in a million years. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm drawing a blank because I'm so caught up on Trevon Diggs, but I know exactly. Donovan Wilson. Thank you.
I brought Damian Wilson was a linebacker for us.
We had him back too, by the way.
Exactly. Donovan Wilson was coming up and hitting, dude. But that's what a safety does. That's what I like, bringing it. You could see he was getting pissed off. So we still have guys that are, these are proud guys. And then I start thinking about the defense, right? And I'm like, because I think I sent a message to you guys calling them cowards or something. Like they're a bunch. But here's the thing: I take that back. I don't think they're cowards. And I was clawed up. I was white clawed up, and I sent it. They're not cowards, and they're far from it. Maybe Trevon is right now.
Hey, well,
but I meant a lot of the players, especially the interior, maybe they're just not good enough. Because I really believe that they're, I think that they're trying. Like I said, I'm bashing Damone Clark. He's giving his best, but his best isn't good enough for that position.
Right?
Does that make sense?
Right. And when you say things like that. I said it too. I don't even know if it was on this show or another one, but I said the same thing about the Dallas Cowboys players. We, as Cowboys podcast hosts, are close to this team. So therefore, when we talk about a Harris coming up off the fucking practice squad, or we talk about these, we think they're going to be the solve, or not the solve, or maybe a boost or something, right? But the rest of the NFL is like, who? You know, even with a guy like Rico Dowdle, nobody knows who Rico Dowdle is outside of the Cowboys fans and content creators and reporters. Yeah. Does he have a big game against Pittsburgh, his best game ever? Yeah, so now you talk about him for a minute. But like these players that are filling these roles are good to us. But when it comes to the rest of the league,
it's a good call.
They might not be up to par with an NFL caliber team.
I swear to God, Sturch, I thought that 1-15 Dallas Cowboy team was fantastic. I didn't understand why they're losing every week. I mean, I was kind of right because a lot of them stuck around. But even before then, some of those other. But that's such a good call. That's a really good call. But I will say this
only because that's what we're used to, what we've seen.
Yeah,
and I'm sure I'm sure every fan base believes this about their team.
And that's my whole thing. That's why I laugh. And you know, and if you can watch the tape of the show, whenever they start talking about the sounds of the sideline, I start smirking and laughing because they're only watching our sides of the sideline.
Right.
Like not every sideline says the same shit that we're saying.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's exactly what you're talking about.
The sounds of the sideline is an upbeat thing. By the way, it only comes out when we win. So we'll call that how it is. I really want to hear sounds of the sidelines when we lose. I really do. Like I want to hear Dak up somebody's ass, like, yo, motherfucker, run your route or some shit. I want to hear that. That's the captivating shit I want to hear. We ain't gonna hear that. No, we hear, oh, did you get a sack? Nah, man, they only gave me half. Oh man,
exactly.
You lose the bet. Like, oh, cool. We're doing side bets now for sack and numbers.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm tearing my fucking hair out watching this team ready to pounce on anybody, including my own family. Right? It's hard. But you know what I said to somebody? Somebody responded on Twitter when I came out and I said, you know what? Like, to hell with these guys for now. Like, I gotta not be as close because it's just like it's gonna kill me. And the one guy's like, yeah, you know, sometimes I check in every 30 minutes of the game just to see the score. I'm like, well, that's not me. I'm gonna watch the games. I'm not gonna, yeah, right, Pat Volkemer. I'm not gonna not watch the games. I just said I'm gonna be kinder to the people around me. You know what I mean? Like, I can't keep doing this shit if they don't give a shit. How am I supposed to care?
Well, I had a friend named John Kelly that he's actually friends with Pat as well. And then Mike Fury, my buddy Mike Fury, that whole crew.
Oh, Fury.
He told me that after they lost to the Giants, they're Patriot fans, by the way. After the Patriots lost to the Giants in that first Super Bowl, he said, I couldn't sleep. He's like, it was awful. He goes, and that's first thing is I go on ESPN and then I see Tom Brady on a beach with Giselle enjoying his life. He's like, as soon as I saw that, I really stopped caring. He goes, I'm not kidding. He's like, he's like, I'm going to work depressed and he's on the beach right now.
Maybe this is what I needed as a fan, you know, just like to get that culture shock from some young player who's making $97 million. And I'm just like, and I'm the one stressing and not being able to sleep. And it's like, oh shit. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. And look, this is not going to take the passion out of how I watch the games, because I love this team. And I ride and die with this team. And I've said it a million times, is the Cowboys are 1 and the Yankees, Rangers, and Knicks are 1A, maybe 2. You know what I mean? Like, I love those teams. Those are my squads. But like the Cowboys in football, it'll always be number 1 for me. So like, it's hard for me to take that, you know, that mentality of like, watch it with a different eye. But now maybe I'll actually watch it with a better eye, knowing that I'm not trying to fluff everybody up. And I'm actually seeing what I'm seeing now. And whether it be accuracy from Dak or whether it be, you know, somebody, you know, people coming at me like, oh, well, you know, if Dak would have scored on 4 drives, we still would have lost by 10, 20 points. And I'm like, yeah, I'm well aware of that, but we wouldn't be talking the way we're talking right now.
Well, no,
you know?
like
when we came back from the Ravens game, you know, we all walked out of that like, yeah, we got shellacked, but Dak seemed to not quit. You know, this one was a quit job on all parts.
This was our point when Brett was on the show, when he's like, offense needs to take, when he was trying to bash the offense and we were just bashing the defense.
Right.
This is what happens when they both don't play.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
even against the Saints, they were having drives.
Sure.
Our defense just completely, sucked like they did in this game. Against the Ravens, like you said, 28-25 final score. Offense made a comeback. They had, those type of things. Same thing, So when the offense doesn't perform and the defense doesn't perform, this is what you get. And if I hear one more time anyone associated with the Dallas Cowboys say, we got humbled. Humbled.
Oh,
humbled from what?
That was Jerry Jones's opening. He was shocked and humbled. And I'm like, how many times can one man be humbled and not be humble?
Usually you're humbled when you're very successful at something and then something happens and then you're like, wow, I got to take a step back. I'll give you one of the best examples. Will Smith, the slapper, right?
Yeah.
He told a story once where he was at a golf course, right, when he got famous. And someone was like, hey, can we get a picture? And he's like, yeah, sure. And he goes to line up with them. And they're looking at him like, what are you doing? And they wanted him to take their picture. And that's when he said, I got humbled. Like I had to take myself down. That's being humbled. There's no humble pie going on in fucking, it's not being served in Dallas.
We
haven't done shit in 30 fucking years. Stop with this humble shit.
You know what it is, Keith? And maybe you'll agree with me here. Like, I think that Jerry Jones thinks that no matter what their record is, no matter how good or bad the team is playing, that the Dallas Cowboy brand, are better and bigger than everybody else. And then, therefore, when they do get slapped around, well, I'm humbled and shocked. And they're like, well, actually, everybody and their mothers were picking the Lions. So why are you shocked?
Yeah.
But when he thinks, well, it doesn't matter. Everybody was picking the Lions to shellac the Cowboys. I saw it across the board. There were a couple writers who were like, you know what, maybe, Puncher's chance. Here we go. It never got off to a good start. Never started. So for him to come out and say, I'm humbled and I'm shocked. And then today, I don't know if you saw all the stuff that happened today.
We can get into that. But hold on. I want to say about the that's a great point. We were underdogs at home. Mm-hmm. Everyone was picking against us. And even Pat Volkermer was right for once.
Finally. Dude, not only that, almost spot on.
I know. He gave us 17 points. That was his only fault.
What a glorious guy he was.
I know. But yeah, dude, I bet that kind of stuff drives me crazy with Jerry and every other player that says this humble thing. But go ahead. We'll get into the Jerry thing because I want to talk about the offense a little more. But let's talk about the comments that were made today.
Yeah, so Jerry Jones has his weekly spot on 105.3 The Fan, and those guys do a great job covering the Cowboys. They'll tell you how it is. They'll tell you when they're good. They'll tell you when they're bad. You're right? Like you got Brian Brodus over there sometimes. You got, a bunch of really good hosts that really call it how they see it. And that's how most podcasts should go and how most radio stations should go. Jerry Jones has his spot today, and Jerry is not in the mood, right? Jerry has been hearing it from every angle. There's been a trending fired Jerry GM hashtag for 3 weeks. He's hearing it. He's feeling it. He threatened a local radio station's job today because he just wasn't feeling the question. He's like, if you're not going to bring the questions, then I'll find somebody who can. And then I'm like, he really can't do that. And then I'm like, I Google, I'm like, oh, he fucking owns the radio station. I was like, he really can get rid of this guy if he feels like it. But dude, this old man brought it on himself, bro. He brought it on himself. He's not aggressive in free agency. We've gotten that. He's not going to be aggressive at the trade deadline because all the guys that I thought were a remote possibility to get, they're not going to get. So it's like he's sitting there. He's trying to tell, this is how I feel. And what's next? You're going to talk about what I did in 1907? No, Ed, we're talking about what you're doing right now in 2024. Your last splash was trading for Amari Cooper back in 2018. That's 6 fucking years ago, Jerry. That's not you talk about recency bias. We're being recent because this is what we have. This is the team you put on the field. You thought after that Packer game, let's just run it back. What do you mean run it back? Run what back? We saw every deficiency known to man. And because you dragged your feet with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb's contracts, you're right. You couldn't afford Derrick Henry because you were sitting there fiddling with your balls because you're wondering how much you want to pay your quarterback. And ultimately, you paid them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They just waited longer. So that's why you can't be aggressive, because you're trying to give too much of the pie up. That's what you're trying to do, man. And for him to go off on these guys that are trying to make a living by covering the Cowboys and trying to make empty threats.
Yeah.
You're pissed off. Bro, you brought it on yourself. I'm sorry. You're a joke right now, man.
It's almost like
a rich joke.
It's almost like he wants to be like one of these candidates that go on a news station that's not going to ask him hard questions. You know what I'm saying? It's like
exactly right, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, no, dude.
I'm out here. CNN would have told me different. Like, yeah, you're right. CNN might not like you though. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, and yeah, it's one of and he's 82. I'll say the same thing about that I said about Trevon Diggs. He's a kid. Jerry Jones is an old fucking man, dude. I bet I bet this is, and it's coming out now. I mean, look,
is.
There's a difference between older ladies and older men. I was trying to explain that to my mom today, who turned 80, because she's very like, I'm like, older men already got this thing where we don't give a fuck in our heads about anything. The older we get, the worse we get. Like, old dudes don't give a shit. And this is what's happening to Jerry. He's just coming out, and
that's a perfect example of the people at the gym, like the old guys at the gym walking around butt ass naked, because they don't give a fuck. Right?
Yeah, no, they don't care.
Dude. Their balls and shit. They don't give a shit.
Well, you remember that scene in Major League when he comes out naked?
I'm too old to be jumping in the fucking locker room. Right?
And he was only like 55 there.
It's worse.
But I want to say, now looking at I was watching the offense too. Like I said, there were a lot of receivers that were open that Dak could have hit. The one thing I noticed with the running backs and with Rico Dowdle mostly and Zeke a couple times, they got to just hit the fucking hole. Because in the NFL, we all know that hole closes in a second. Zeke used to be amazing at it. He get the ball and bam, there were holes opening. But they're doing a stupid little move before or whatever instead of just hitting that goddamn hole. So I'm not really coming at the O-line for this. I'm coming at the running backs, because there were holes that were opening and closing way fast. But dude, you gotta hit it. I don't know if you got hit hard too much last week, Rico, or what it is, or you're looking for an easier run. But that's not the way it is as a running back.
You remember there was a certain shift in running back play. When Le'Veon Bell was good, remember? Because he was like, oh, he's patient. He waits for these holes. He's waiting, dancing around, and then bang, he finds the hole. That's gone now. Now you have to react faster in the NFL. Guys have gotten bigger, stronger, faster every year. What do you got to do? You got to react quicker, right? You can't be this guy that dances in the backfield waiting for that shit to open. It ain't gonna open. And when it does open, you got it. Just what Keith said, you gotta go. You gotta go.
No, you have to. And that was the issue with our running backs too. I meant the offense in general. Now, and I was never really worried about our running backs as everyone else, but I am a little now.
Well, now, I mean, you got somebody.
If you're
somebody chilling, waiting, you know.
No, you got Cook waiting. You're right, and he's fresh. He's But once again, it's one of those things where it makes it look like, oh, it's the offensive line, or it's this. A great example we can all bring up is Emmitt Smith not being there the first 2 weeks when we started out 0-2, before he signed with the Cowboys back in '93. Jerry even came out and said, I thought that any running back could run behind that line.
Can you name the running back that took the first 2 weeks of primary?
Kervin Richards.
No.
Hold on. Lassick.
Derek Lassick.
Yeah.
And I knew that off the top of my head. You know why, Keith? Because Psycho Sturch over here was drawing a picture of a running back when I was 8 years old. And it was not an Emmitt Smith drawing. It was a Derek Lassick drawing, because I thought he was going to be the next big thing. We didn't need fucking Emmitt Smith.
You still have that?
No, it's gone.
Oh, that'd be awesome if you did.
Right? And I used to draw a mean football player. I was pretty good at drawing football players, because that's all I did. I drew football players.
What number was he? 20? Was he 21? Was he Sanders' number?
32.
Oh.
32.
Yeah.
Crazy. Oh, and you know what? Somebody will fact check that and be like, nope, it was this guy.
Whatever.
There was another one. I can't remember. It was either Derek Lassick. Fuck, it was somebody else too. I want to say there was one more guy.
Curvin Richards was one. Remember?
No, it wasn't Curvin Richards.
Curvin?
Shit, man. I'm going to fucking go nuts now. 1993 Dallas Cowboys running backs. I have to. Now it's going to make me nuts. So I'm going Pro Football Reference.
Yeah, Curvin, he got cut at the end of 92.
This is going to drive me nuts. It was. It's just like dead air, and you never want to do this, but fuck it, because I want to prove a point. Lincoln Coleman was one of our fullbacks.
He didn't come till later, though, right?
Derek,
UPS driver.
Derek Gaynor. That wasn't him either.
I remember him, yeah.
I do remember him, but that's not what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Derek Lassick, number 20. Oh, he's 23, so I'm dyslexic. 23 was – no, I'm sorry. Derek Lassick was 25, so I'm even more off. But damn, bro, where the fuck? I don't know. I'm losing my mind here. It'll come to me. I'll text you later with it because I know it's going to jump off the charts.
And another thing that might be going through Dak's mind too on offense, because he did it when he threw the when he was down the red zone, is
Sherman Williams.
The painter. Yeah, Sherman Williams. Yeah.
I don't know why. And it's gone now. I deleted. I got rid of that window, and it just jumped in my head. I don't know.
All right. Anyways, but yeah, I was saying that I think that he's forcing it to CeeDee Lamb a lot too.
Yeah, well, I told you he's got no other. He's got no trust.
I know, but that's his. That is not. But that's not the way. I mean, last week he didn't. I mean, he went to Tolbert in the end zone. I mean, like you said, we know he could spread it around. You know, I don't know, like, especially if it's, you know, maybe he was forcing it to him because he wasn't all there. He's like, fuck it. If I'm going to throw it to anyone right now, I'm going to throw it to my best receiver. Because even that pass he threw to CD across the middle, opening drive, that was a bad pass.
One-hand grab?
Yeah. It wasn't a good pass at all.
No.
I mean, he was just off.
It happens. It happens to the best of them. It's not like it's one of these things where it's like this, oh, that's Dak for you. No, it's not. It's not. It's not Dak for you.
But
did he play lesser then? Yeah, he played lesser then.
I just do not want to see this Dak again this season.
I know.
Ever again.
And I'm wondering what the fix could be. Now, look, Keith, everybody knows the bye comes at a good time right now because you do have these injuries, and we might get Bland back. We might get Micah back for the 49er game. I made a joke yesterday, and I said, look, the Cowboys fans are up in arms right now, and, you know, everybody's just trying to figure out what's what. I said, yeah, you know what? Typical Cowboys and their fan base, including myself, will screw around and beat the Niners in San Francisco somehow. I don't know how. Don't ask me what's the recipe. I don't know. But the Cowboys are so down bad right now at 3-3. Like, their fan base is just up in arms that they'll find a way to beat San Francisco, and then we're going to have a completely different conversation because people are going to be like, oh, well, wait a minute.
I mean, it might be I think it could also be, oh, yeah, that's great. We know what we can do now or whatever, but I don't know if we'll have the same because we see what they do. The only good news is that we're playing the 49ers in San Francisco. So
we're 3-0 on the road.
Thank God.
3-0 on the road, coming off a bye.
Yeah.
Keith, gun to your head, is the roster the same minus the comeback of health?
Well, yeah, I think so. I do think that I mean, I'm hoping out of everyone on that defense, we get Kendricks back. I'd rather him back over any, including Micah. Sorry, I want Kendricks back in that middle.
Same.
I mean, the guy that he knows how to play middle linebacker.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that he's the one that makes it back.
So outside of health, you don't think the Cowboys are going to go outside of the building?
Nah, maybe. I mean, if they do, you're not going to get any. Maybe I don't think you'll get a big star or anything, dude. I'm saying not. When is the When is it? When is the trade?
3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Or like this is, but what I'm saying is the timing checks out for the Cowboys coming into a bye week. This is when you would make a move to bring somebody in, learn the offense over the last week. Then you have a bye. Then you do it again. Right. So now this is, to me, it's now or never to me for Dalvin Cook, because what the fuck are we doing?
All right. All right. If you could trade, I would say the only position I would want to see filled, I'm still okay with our receivers, is running back. What would you, if you could trade for a running back that's tradable, who would it be?
Trade for a running back? Like bring them on? there was a small window of where I thought maybe this is a possibility. Travis Etienne. And the only reason why I say that is because of the emergence of Tank Bigsby. So now, like, the Jaguars might be down and out. So let's go see if we can find some.
Yeah.
Maybe Travis Etienne. But other than that, I don't know who else is out there that's tradable. You know, like that's the
thing.
Thing. Like the Kansas City Chiefs lost their star, and somehow, some way, they got Kareem Hunt off the couch, and he looks like he hasn't missed a beat. You know,
sometimes that works, buddy. Sometimes that works. I mean,
fine, again, do we have a guy that's coming off the couch?
I don't know. I mean, you'd have to look. It could be Cook.
Like, what do you want to do?
You remember CJ Anderson when he ran all over us? Was that his name? Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure. That
for the Rams. Yeah. He was right off the couch. I mean, you know, so you never know. I mean, you get a hungry. Once again, you get some guys that are just sitting home and they get the opportunity again to make money. Get one of those dudes from get the leading rusher, whoever it was in the UFL.
Right.
Right. Now we laugh, but listen.
Fucking he hate me next week.
But listen, now you want to talk about being humbled. That's being humbled, being wanted once for millions of dollars, and now you're getting paid $2,000 a game. You watch somebody come from that league that has any talent and come to the NFL. Watch how hard they run. Or if they could run for a good contract.
Or the Cowboys could have drafted a running back in the 4th round. You know, could have did that. But listen, man, there's a lot of holes to fill.
And also, dude, that the CeeDee Lamb thing, you put him we all know, if you're going to put him in the fucking backfield, don't run him every time.
Right.
He has a bullseye on his chest.
He really does.
It's so bad.
Who are you going to fool, Mike? Who are you going to fool on this one, Mike? You're going to be the smartest guy in the room? They'll never expect this shit. Right? Like, drives me fucking nuts. Anyway, listen, we're heading into the bye. There's a lot to be discussed. We'll see if the roster changes over. We'll be back next week to pick the San Francisco game. Hopefully Brett will be back. We'll line it up that way, and we'll figure out if they made any moves. If not, who's coming back via injury. We'll figure all that out. But right now, it's a down time to be a Cowboys fan. Even at 3-3 and you're one game out of the division, I get all that shit. But, like, are we the team that can beat up on a Carolina and then lose to a team that's way better than us?
I got one better for you. Are we the team that just lost, got our ass kicked by the Lions, or are we the team that went into Pittsburgh and pulled off a walk-off touchdown that had awesome defense? Which team are we? And I'll tell you who I think the weakest point, and I'll bring it up again, it was Damone Clark in that game. Look, one or two players can make a difference. Let's get people back healthy, and let's get rid of the ones that, I don't care. Like I said, release them, do whatever, do something. But there's certain players that should not even sniff the field again, in my eyes.
Show me effort. That's all. Like, just make sure if you're out there on that field that you want to win a game. Like, if you want to win the next play. If I know it sounds cliche and one play at a time, but it's the truth. Mm-hmm. If you want to take plays off, go take a play off. Make sure you replace yourself or somebody replace you with somebody that wants to make a hit, make a stop. But right now we're surrounded on this defense with guys that just look like they don't want to be there. And that's fine. If you don't want to be there, that's totally cool. But there's guys that probably do. So we'll see. But that'll be that. So anyway, guys, thank you guys for joining us on the Jersey Boyz Podcast. We appreciate you. Keep liking all the videos and everything that we're posting out there. For Dave Sturchio and America's fan, Keith Ernst, he wasn't the Grinch this week because there was Grinching all over the place.
You can't be the Grinch when it's Grinchable.
It's unison Grinch time here, and we're not even at fucking Halloween yet. Take care, everybody. And as always,
how about them Cowboys?
Good. And you know what? That's the new one, by the way. That's the one where he's yelling on the microphone, not in the so he's the ring honor.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Hey, this is Tony Soprano, and you're listening to Jersey Boyz Podcast with your hosts, Dave Sturchio and the Ernst Boys. I mean, I could give a shit about the Cowboys. We're in New Jersey. These guys got balls being Cowboys fans in Jersey. Anyways, enjoy. Whatever.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!